Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for September 1st, 2019. My gosh, it's already September. I feel like the summer went by really fast, even though it was really busy and stuff going on. It just feels like that was too quick. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about the books I read this week. The ones I'm in the middle of, as in they're on hold, and then what I think I'm gonna read in the coming week. So I am on vacation this week. It is Labor Day weekend here in the US, and I'm enjoying the weekend, and then I took off all of the following week, and then I took off the Monday after, so I took 5 days. So technically I get 10 days off from work, which is super needed. I had a really hard week last week. I had kind of a reading meltdown in the middle of Women in Translation, which was kind of sad. I really enjoyed reading the books that I did. It's just I got to where I went too many and my brain just went, nope, we're done. So that's kind of the ones that are on hold in the middle, which I'll talk about. And then I read a lot of just fun stuff afterwards, just because my brain needed the brain candy. And work was just, as I said, I was trying to get ready for vacation, so that all went. And then I had car problems on Friday morning. I was gonna go to work early, and well, I kind of left my brakes to go too long, so they were kind of grinding, so I didn't make it to work. I was sitting out front of a tire shop for an hour and a half before they opened up to look at my brakes. So that Friday did not go the way it planned. I mean, it was really nice. I got off early. My boss let me go because he had to come get me at the tire shop, and then he took me back and he wanted to leave. So I pretty much got an early release from work on Friday. Pretty bad. Anyway, and then I messed up my time card, and I woke up I was laying in bed at night going, oh, I messed up, because you're supposed to do this time card thing for when you're on vacation, and well, I forgot. Anyway, so Saturday I drove in and went back to work. We had a couple of people on crew there, and I just got in and did my time card and got out 10 minutes later. So, but I had to do an extra trip. Anyway, Friday was just a nightmare. Anyway, so. But I made it to the weekend, and it's been good so far. So, as I said, it's just great to have a vacation. I'm hoping to get I'm going to watch some movies and maybe some TV series. I have had a couple movies out from the library from Jane Austen July that I haven't watched. And I want to watch Good Omens, and I want to watch, my brother really wants me to watch Mindhunters, and I love true crime, so this is totally a series up my alley that I should like. It's the whole, everybody's watching it right now, and I don't like to watch shows when everybody else is watching them. Anyway, so we'll see. I will probably, I don't know, we'll again, and have it, then my family and I are going to the coast, midweek about, and then we're renting a house over at Waldport, so that's just south of Newport, Oregon. So it'll be really nice. And again, this was the vacation that I said I was gonna go take, and then 10 minutes later, my parents had kind of invited themselves. But it'll be fun. We're going with my great aunt and her dog as well, and my brother will come down at one point after work on the weekend. So anyway, anyway. So that was a really long update for me. Sorry, I just felt like I needed to tell you all that. So anyway, so let's talk about the books that I did finish for Women in Translation Readathon. I really enjoyed the idea and concept of this, and I did read 5 books in Women in Translation this month. Would have been nice if I could have continued the week out. I think I would have done a lot better with my numbers that I wanted. But really, I finished 3 books while I did the readathon, and I read almost 600 pages in that week for the readathon. So I didn't do quite as well as I'd liked, but I did feel like I did try. I made an effort, and there's still books, the ones that I'm in the middle of, which I'll explain about. I still want to read them. I'm just going to space them out. They were all at the same time. Was just too much for me. But I will talk about first the ones that I finished, and the first one I finished was The Housekeeper and the Professor by Yoko Ogawa. This was translated from the Japanese by Stephen Snyder. And I really enjoyed this. I was really worried going into this because I hated Hotel Iris with a passion, that I DNF'd that and wanted to throw that book across the room. I mean, it was my book, so I could have, but I was so mad at that book, just with choices made and reasonings, and it just I just hated that book. Sorry, tangent. This book was so much better. So this follows the story of a housekeeper and her relationship with a professor that she goes to take care of his house and stuff. He has very short-term memory. He can only remember the last 80 minutes. So if you meet him in that time period, he'll remember you, but if it's past that, he won't remember you. And he puts little sticky notes on his jacket and to make notes for himself. And it's really, he was in a car accident, so he's been like that for quite a few years before she got there. She also has a young son who she brings over at some point, so because he was all really worried about her leaving him at home. So there's a relationship, all three of them. And I think he was a math professor, so he talks about math all the time and everything relates to math. And it was very fascinating because I do like math. I just, again, I haven't studied it since college. And it was just really fun that stuff because it was a lot of stuff I didn't know. So it was fun. And I really liked the relationship between all three of them and the way it goes. I really, really enjoy this, and I see why a lot of people have liked this book, and I'm really glad I read this. This gives me a little bit more faith in other books by Yoko Ogawa that I would actually try to read, because I kind of want to read, was it Revenge? And I think that was the one I was thinking about reading. Anyway, but I don't know. You guys will have to tell me what else I should read by her. The Memory Police is on, like, now on my list. I was not even looking at that as an option until I read this to know if I would like to read another book of hers. So I would probably pick up another one of hers at this point. But I really enjoyed this. I was very surprised that I liked it as much as I did, considering how much of a reaction I had to Hotel Iris. Then on Sunday, I went to the library and picked up a couple of books, which I probably shouldn't have since I have plenty of translated work at home. But this is a book I've always been interested to see what people are, what it really was. And it's Fever Dream by Samantha Schweblin. This was translated from the Spanish by Megan McNow. It is Spanish, right? Yeah, Spanish. So this is, I think, Argentinian. So from Argentina, I believe. No, that's not right, is it? Oh, man. I don't know my geography right now. Anyway, but this was the weirdest book. I get why the name is called Fever Dream. I get, because it is very much dreamlike, and it is weird. But it kept my attention. Again, I read this in a day. Like, I read this all Sunday. It didn't take me all Sunday. I focused on it after I got it from the library that afternoon, and I read it until the evening, and again, well, early. Actually, I think it was just the afternoon. Anyway, so it was really interesting. The only thing I can tell you about it is a woman is kind of having this dream, trying to remember what happened and why she's sick. And it's just weird. I don't know how to explain that. Actually, I think you just need to go. I went into it pretty blind. Except that it was dreamlike. That's about the only thing I could say. It's not all going to match up. It doesn't all make sense. But it was fascinating, the details in here. And I wanted a little bit more of closure in the end, as in what really happened. Sorry. But other than that, I thought it was still a really fascinating book. And I'm glad I picked it up just to try, because it was weird. And again, it was a very quick read. And it was just weird. Anyway, I said, I'm glad I tried it. It's just those weird things. And then a book I really, really enjoyed was In Other Words by Jhumpa Lahiri. This was written in Italian and translated by Anne Goldstein. And this was the one where one side is the Italian and the other side is the English. And so it was pretty much an easy read because you only had to read half the book. But anyway, I really... this was a really good nonfiction, exploring language and learning another language and deciding to write in that language. I think she does an excellent job of showing her process of falling in love with a language and trying to master it, and yet knowing that she can't unless she is immersed in it. And I really appreciated a lot of her writing stuff in here, because she's, a Pulitzer Prize winner in English writing, you know, and then she switches over to Italian, which is that's a huge leap for somebody. And it was fascinating why she did it, but I liked getting to know why she would, you know, want to pursue that. But I think it's very much her own journey, and I think it was just a really good book on showing that. And I'm trying to remember why I marked a piece in here. Oh, this was the thing. Okay, there was this one section, I totally got this because, and again, I think people, who are not white, who have other ethnic backgrounds, and even if they're born in the US and grew up here, they are always assumed that their story their fiction is somehow based on their life. And again, this comes back to the whole write what you know crap. I'm sorry, but I don't believe in that stuff. I think you should write what you want to write, what you want to read. And she mentions in here how, you know, for years everybody thought all of her books are like are based off of her or her experiences. And I can see that was one of the most important points in here, is this thing where people just assume things about you because of maybe your skin color and stuff. And I thought that was really important to say that, again, as writers, a lot of us write fiction, and it is not our lives, nor do we want that life. We just made those people up, or we try to make them as realistic as possible. That doesn't mean we live through that, or we had, you know, I don't know how to explain that, but it was nice to see that she was rejecting that and trying to say, no, I'm not, this was her closest book that's, you know, her, because it's nonfiction. This is her, you know, biography. This is the stuff, you know, autobiography stuff, but her writing is not. And I guess I understood that a lot because, maybe because I write a lot of genre fiction. Most of my stuff is urban fantasy related. I mean, I have some other stuff too, but I meant that's pretty much where I normally write, because I write about reality, but I always like throw supernatural twists in. But I don't want to write about my real life. And if I write anything that I have written stuff that's I would consider normal fiction or general fiction, but those people are not me, or not anything to do with me. And I guess I just felt that was a good point in here. And because some people just assume that if you write a character that has maybe something really bad happen to them, that was something maybe happened to you. And I'm like, no, it's a novel. It's fiction. Anyway, I don't know. Maybe I just rambled about that. It's a writer thing. I don't know. I thought it was really well done, and I totally recommend that book for other writers. Anybody could read it, but I think it speaks much to the writer in me on her process, even though I would never want to. I mean, I learned French and got to be really good in French for college, and then, you know, I was dreaming in French there at the end. But now, years later, it's gone because I'm not immersed in it anymore. And I was only immersed for like a year in it, and it was great, but I didn't want to write in it. I didn't want to switch. It's fascinating that she made those choices. Anyway, sorry. As I ramble, but it was a really good book, and I totally recommend it. And I'm glad I picked that up on, because that was one of the prompts in Women in Translation. That I think it was Kendra Winchester's book, Bonus Point. And I just got it from the library just for the heck of it, and I'm so glad I picked it up. That was definitely one of those ones I just picked up from the library, and I'm glad I did it. So I will be looking for my own copy of that pretty soon. So then midweek I had kind of a meltdown. I have a video out on that of kind of I burnt out on, I read too many books at the same time, plus they were all kind of similar not in writing styles and not in plots or anything. It's just, I felt like they were too connected, and I had a meltdown. Anyway, so I decided to go in a completely different direction and focused a little bit more on my summer romance book bingo, because I still needed a few titles. And actually, I will have an update later this week on how I did on the 3 months, because my bingo board, I haven't even touched it. Like, I've written down what books I read, but I have not said what prompts they go to. I have to go back and do all that. But I did continue on with the Saw Bears paranormal romance series that I started a couple of months ago. I think in June I read the first book, but oops. So I read number 2, which was Woodcutter Werebear. So these are so cute. Like they're cute. They're like 225 pages at the most. Stories about lumberjacks and outside of Saratoga. And they're just as I said, it's robot. So they're all buff and they're bears, and anyway, again it's talks about the women in their lives that, yeah, like this one, oh, you know, I've gotten them all mixed up. I read a couple in a row, so we'll just I'm not going to go into what they are. Just think of they have, you know, it's like a normal paranormal romance series where each book is another couple. So this one, you know, there's a woman he finds, and she's sorry, I just can't. Never mind. Let's just talk about their lumberjacks and their bears, and there's a lot of stuff. Like, it's very paranormal, normal stuff. Anyway, so I read that one, and then I immediately picked up Sawman. Is that right? No, that's not. That's 4. Sorry, I've got mine out of order here. Sorry. Timberman. Werebear. Sorry. These are just so cute, and I'm not making fun of it. It's just they're light and fluffy. And then Sawman Werebear. So I did the next 3 in this series. There's several more in the series, and she has a whole T.S. Joyce has so many books, and they're all some of them are linked, like the different, like these are the Ash Crew. So these bears are all doing one part of the lumberjack thing, and then there's 2 others doing other things, and I think we get to know them later. I mean, we get little snatches of them here. And then again, it's always like one of the guys, and then a girl, a woman of some sort comes, or they know, or something happens, and it's all very paranormal, and they're just fun. Okay, I have to say they were fast reads, and I super enjoyed being able to just get into a series where I didn't have to think too much. And I admit I just needed it because at the time my brain, work-wise, was getting ramped up because it was right before my holiday, so I was doing all this stuff. So it was a perfect way for me to I don't know, just enjoy a story. And again, they were just cute, and they're short, and they were easy, and they're cheap on Kindle. So I bought actually the next 2 to pick up at any time. So I just enjoyed them. If you're looking for something light with, you know, shifter bears, I like them. I would say of the 4 I've read so far, the first one was the weakest. So I really liked the other 3. The first one was just, as I said, I read, I think it was Lumberjack Werebear, which is the first one. You do need to read it to read the other 3. It would just make more sense. I would read them in order just because, well, I like to read everything in order. The first one's just slightly not as well done. I would say the ending was a little rushed to me, but all the last 3 were all much better. They made much more sense. They were fleshed out a little bit better in the end, and I liked them a lot better. So the series though is continuing. I'm enjoying these characters, and I expect to continue on. So just real quickly, I'm going to talk about the 3 books that I put aside from Women in Translation that I will come back to. And I said my mind just melted down, and I'm not surprised it happened from what I did, because I should not have been picking up more than 1 book at a time. And I should have known. That is definitely a problem of mine. I've always, like, I mean, don't have a problem with an audiobook and a physical book, but the problem is I had 3 books going. One was a nonfiction, one was and then another a fiction book that were both physical, and then my audiobook. And it was just too much of all the same kind of genre, because they're all modern classics in some way to me. They're all, you know, so it just threw me off. So anyway, these are the books. I'm going to try to pick them up within the next couple months, one at a time, here and there, and I will get them done. This was not the book's fault. I did not want to stop reading because of the book. It was all me. So the first one is Alberta and Jacob by Cora Sandell. This is translated from the Norwegian by Elizabeth Roken. And I really was enjoying this. I was getting into this this woman, Alberta, who is not living the best life. Her family is kind of a little messed up, and she feels pretty trapped where she's at. And as I said, it's very early days. I got to page 66 before I set it down. So it's not that I don't want to read this. I do want to know her story because I want to know, because her brother is getting into some trouble, and right when I stopped was when she was trying to help him get some money for something. And it was just the wrong time for me. So I'm hoping to pick this up later this month. Hopefully to finish it off, or, you know, at least in the next couple months, I'm going to say. But at least I do want to get done before the end of the year. It's not like I'm going to hold on to this. I really was enjoying this. I just need to find a different time to read it because this time was not it. I also got partway through A Woman in Berlin. I only got 44 pages in. So I only read this for a couple days, and then I was, I just pulled off. I was trying to get more nonfiction into my TBR. So this is translated from the German by Philip Boehm. And this is again about 1945 Berlin and the 2 months as the Red Army invades and takes over control of the city. And again, it's going to be brutal. It's already, you know, they're talking about every night they sleep down in the basement and listen to the sirens and bombings and stuff, and food is getting scarce, and everybody's scared about what's going to happen when the army gets there, because it's just about to happen. Anyway, I will definitely pick this up. If I don't pick it up this month or next month, then definitely nonfiction November. I'm going to finish this book. I've been wanting to read this for a year, so it's not that I was interested in it. I know it's going to get brutal. I just had to set it down for now. And I didn't make it very far into the audiobook of the first book of the Kristin Lavransdatter by Sigrid Undset, translated by Tina Nannali from the Norwegian. Again, this one I read 78 pages in January, and then I put it down, and I decided I got the audiobook on sale one day for Audible, so I thought, okay, I'll listen to it. And the audiobook is pretty good. I do like it. It just took me a while to remember how all the names go, because I was seeing them when I read them, and then to hear it is different because they're different names. But I got about 50 pages in, so I didn't even quite make it to the point where I'd read before. But I still want to finish this, so at least the first book. So I think that's to this pink one. So it's like, I'm not very far, because this is, yeah. Anyway, it's about 300 pages in this thing. So I'm only a sixth of the way through the book. So I will pick up the audiobook again at some point and hopefully make some progress. But I just, as I said, I just didn't want to listen to an audiobook after I got to that point. And I haven't listened to one over the last couple of days since I stopped listening to that. So let's see here. I'm trying to think if, that's kind of where I'm at. Again, I have 11 books I'm currently reading that I wanted to get done by the end of the year that I've started and not completed. I'm trying to think how I want to say this. I'm going to read all these books. It's just, as I said, this year I feel like I've put down a lot of books that I didn't have to. Oh, I forgot about that. Sorry, I couldn't forget about sorry, I'm not going to put that up. Anyway, so I'm having trouble. Like, I was hoping to start clearing off some of my currently reading, because I wanted, by the end of the year, I want to clear it all off and then restart with 0, which I did last year. Or, you know, and made some decisions about DNFing some books. And some of the books on there I still want to finish. So we'll see what happens. But these 3 books are still on that list. So my list is kind of long right now. As I said, I have 11 books that I've started this year. Well, 2 of the books are actually a carryover from last year, but they're big books, and there's reason. Anyway, the point is I need to get through some of those books by the end of the year, and I'm hoping I will be able to do that. So right now, currently, I'm reading, I don't have a copy, and my Kindle my iPad just messed up, but I'm reading Wolf Rain by Nalini Singh. Again, this is like, what is it, book 18, I think, in this I Changeling series. I'm rereading it. I read it in June when it came out. It's time for my reread. I usually read it at least once or twice before I get the paperback, because I don't buy the hardbacks of those because I don't collect those. I collect only the paperbacks. But I get the ebooks when they first come out because I don't want to wait for the library. So anyway, so I'm doing my reread of that. I just need to read something, and I'm still in a paranormal romance mood, so I got that, even though it won't count towards summer romance book bingo because I'd already counted in June when I read it the first time. Can I count it twice? Anyway, I don't know what I'm going to pick up next. I have absolutely no idea. I have so many things I want to pick up, and my mood is, I'm just going to let it mood read. I did put up my TBR yesterday, which I kept it really small. For me, 6 books. 4 of them are new to me and 2 that are rereads. So I'm going to pick up some of those this week. Again, I'm on vacation, so I expect to get not a lot read this week, especially when I get with my family, but at least I want to get a couple books read this week and enjoy my time off. And I'm looking forward to just hanging out for the first couple days. I've kind of let myself have these first couple days to kind of do a few things around the house, but then chill out. So hopefully I'll get some of those movies and TV series watched. I don't know. I might just be reading. I don't know. We'll have to see. And then again, I will be on the coast. So as a heads up to stuff on my channel, I just wanted to give you a heads up that I will be posting later this week 2 tags that I filmed in July that I just found that I forgot to upload. And they're ones I was tagged in. So if you tagged me in some videos and I haven't put it up yet, let me know. I think I'm behind on a couple of them, but I have 2 of them filmed, and I'm going to try to film a couple more while I'm off this week so that they'll come out like next week. But I got 2 that are really old. So you'll see my hair longer, and I don't know. Anyways, anyway, I found them. I can't believe I forgot to post those. It's just, I don't know what happened. Anyway, so I'll get those up, and then of course I'll have my book haul probably tomorrow, and then I'll have a stats video by the end of the week probably. And then there's another video I was going to do, but and then I'll at some point do an update video on how I did on summer romance book bingo, and maybe an update on my reading through the ages, which I really suck at. I must admit. Anyway, that's kind of it. Hopefully I'll get a lot read. I don't know what I'm going to read though. I have so many things I want to read, and yeah, I did buy a lot of books again this last month, so I'm kind of trying to hold back this month, except it's not going to work because we're going to go book shopping when I go to the coast, so I don't know how this is going to go. Anyway, so I've rambled long enough. What are you guys reading? Are you guys having a good holiday? Are you getting a lot of reading done this week? Let me know, and this weekend. I hope you guys have, if you have tomorrow off, happy Labor Day. And as I said, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.